Have you ever felt like you were making a rational decision, but later realized it was driven by impulse, emotion, or just hunger? In the 1980s, neuroscientist Benjamin Libet made a groundbreaking discovery. He found that our brain begins preparing for an action hundreds of milliseconds before we consciously decide to do it. Building on this idea, later research pushed the boundary even further. A 2008 study using fMRI found that researchers could predict a participant's button press decision up to 7 seconds before the person became consciously aware of making that decision. By monitoring activity in the prefrontal cortex and parietal cortex, they were able to successfully anticipate the participant's choice. In other words, your brain decides before you do. From an evolutionary perspective, the human brain wasn't designed to seek truth or explore philosophy. It was built for one essential purpose: to keep your genes alive and moving forward. In other words, your brain isn't wired to pursue pure knowledge. It's wired to help you survive, reproduce, and stay safe. At its core, every living creature, including humans, is programmed to do three things: eat, mate, and avoid danger. These behaviors directly affect whether you live long enough to pass on your DNA. The ancestors who did this best, who could find food, attract partners, and escape threats, were the ones who shaped the brains we have today. That's why so many of our thoughts, urges, and even emotions are deeply rooted in ancient survival patterns. We assume that our views on politics, love, literature, or friendship are based on rationality and objectivity, firmly believing that the nobler aspects of our inner selves guide these judgments. Yet, in truth, rationality is merely the rider, and emotion is the elephant. The rider thinks it's in control, but in reality, it's the elephant that chooses the path, and the rider simply concocts reasons afterward. Take relationships, for example. People often say they broke up because it wasn't working anymore, or because we had different goals. But the real tipping point often happens beneath awareness, when disgust, boredom, or emotional exhaustion slowly outweigh the dopamine-driven attachment. The biology shifts, the emotional balance tilts, and only then does the rational mind step in to explain, this just isn't healthy anymore. I deserve better. It's time to move on. But the elephant had already turned. The decision wasn't made in words, it was made in the body. Emotions aren't fixed buttons hardwired into your brain. They're actually predictions constructed by your brain using past experiences, language, culture, and signals from your body. Your brain is a prediction machine. Every moment it's recalculating based on your internal and external environment. Is this safe? Is this a threat? Is there a reward? Emotions are like your brain's fast labeling system, quick signals that help you respond efficiently. That's why emotions can shift so easily based on small things like low blood sugar, irritability, poor sleep, pessimism, a sudden good message, excitement, and joy. So if your emotions seem to change rapidly, it doesn't mean you're too emotional. It means your brain is constantly adapting. This understanding can change the way we see ourselves and others. Maybe that person who lashed out at you at 2 a.m. in the kitchen didn't truly hate you. Maybe your friend who yelled at their mom was just overtired, or too full, or both. Sometimes we're not fully ourselves. We're just riding the elephant. Emotions are real experiences, but they don't always reflect objective reality. It's like when you wake up from a nightmare. Your fear was real, but no one was actually chasing you. In that sense, emotions are subjective truths, not necessarily external facts. Rationality isn't the dominant force we often imagine it to be. It's not the master, it's a regulator that needs to be trained and protected. If you're curious about how to strengthen that rational part of your mind and make clearer choices, I made another video called How to Make Better Decisions. It breaks down simple tools to help you navigate everyday choices with more awareness. You can check it out after this one, especially if you're ready to stop letting emotions call all the shots. Emotions are like trains. They arrive, they make noise, they pull into the station of your mind. But here's the thing, you don't have to get on every train. You can stand on the platform. You can watch the feeling arrive. Anger, fear, excitement, sadness. Notice it, even feel it for a moment, and still choose not to ride with it. Some trains pass quickly, others slow down and linger, but all of them eventually move on. The power lies in knowing you are the observer, not the passenger, and that moment of stillness and of not reacting automatically is where emotional mastery begins. Even if our decisions are primarily driven by emotion, the very act of becoming aware of that emotional influence is already a higher level of freedom. It's not about eliminating emotion. That's impossible and honestly undesirable. Emotions are part of what makes us human. But when you can pause and notice, wait, am I buying this out of insecurity? Am I saying this because I'm tired or hurt? You shift from being a character in the story to becoming the narrator. That awareness creates a gap, a moment where you get to choose. And in that moment, you're no longer just riding the elephant blindly. You're gently guiding it with intention. We may not be fully in control all the time, but awareness gives us a foothold. And from that small space between impulse and action, we can build something powerful, a more intentional life. So let's take a moment, not to fix anything, not to analyze, but simply to pause. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take a slow breath in and gently let it go. Notice what's here. Maybe there's tension, maybe there's calm. Whatever it is, just notice. Let your thoughts pass by like clouds. Let emotions move like waves. You don't need to hold them. You don't need to fight them. You are the sky. Everything else, just weather. In this space, there's no need to react. Just feel and be. And from here, you can begin again. A little more aware, a little more grounded. Thanks for watching. And if you found this helpful, give it a like. Share it with someone you care about. See you next time.